Welcome to another episode of TCTF, True Crime Truth Finders. Tonight we're going to continue exploring Mistress, Nichol Kessinger, from the Chris Watts case. First things first, the following episode covers our opinions based on evidence reviewed in this case, and is in no way meant to be an accusation. As always, we request you draw your own conclusions on this case.
Recently, law enforcement was asked about some discrepancies in the 2,000-page discovery that was released in this case. Some of those discrepancies were things such as things that Nichol Kessinger had said versus what they had discovered in her text messages and from different parties and things like that. One of those discrepancies was how we talked about last episode, where in 2017, Nichol Kessinger Googled Chris Watts and Shanann Watts, and she told law enforcement that she had met them or didn't even really know who Shanann was other than really through Chris, and that was like at the very end of their relationship, I guess you could say. And in the beginning of that, she said that she had just met Chris, and that was in May or June of 2018. But she was Googling them in 2017. So he said this wasn't a witch hunt. He said there's no other suspects in this case, and that the case is closed for now. They are not looking into Nichol Kessinger's lies, things that she would have said that could be discredited. They were not going to proceed in that at all. So I kind of found that interesting as we were talking about the possibility of her maybe being an accessory after the fact, or maybe her involvement in this case.
Yeah, I also would like to kind of touch on that as well. You know, he mentions it as a witch hunt. And, you know, I think if you are referring to a witch hunt, you want to end a witch hunt.
Right.
And, you know, when you're referring to Nichol Kessinger, how does she really fit into the case? You know, I want to refer to her as maybe a victim, you know, because of guilty by association, I guess as you would say. But also in the interview with the detective, I guess, or law enforcement agent, I guess we'll just refer to, she mentions being a witness. And I found that very, let's just say odd.
Suspect.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's interesting to say that you're a witness, and the way that she mentioned it in that interview was very odd. She mentioned it multiple different times, and you could be a witness in different aspects, I guess. It's not really clear cut and dry exactly what type of witness she was. Was she, you know, involved in premeditation and planning it? Was she there?
Was it a reference from start to finish, or, you know, as far as how he, you know, when she met Chris, as far as how it all went down and ended, and or
like maybe she planted it in his head or something, or
yeah, there's a lot of different ways that could be interpreted or spun off, I guess you could say.
Well, like last episode you said, when we were talking about this, how Nichol mentioned in her one of her other interviews, there's now been 2 released that were approximately 2 hours long, and she had mentioned in one of those that he had a willingness and likelihood to open up to her. So maybe she was just a witness by hearing too much. Maybe he just told her too much. I mean, maybe she was just trying to make herself sound better. I don't know what maybe she had a motive. I'm not really sure what the issue was or what.
Yeah, she really,
what she referred to or meant.
She never really came out and defined it. She just kind of skated around the fact and mentioned it quite, you know, several times, like you mentioned. And then, you know, like we had said, it's interesting. That's all we wanted to point out and kind of get everybody else's take on that as well. I mean, if you heard that and you're in an interview.
What would you think?
What would you think? You wouldn't want to kind of follow up, maybe,
exactly.
Or dig
I have
further,
lots of questions.
or, you know, I don't know. You know.
Some part of those, you know, I guess you could say over 4 hours of interviewing, though, is her sitting there trying to figure out how to do things on her phone, transfer contacts, sitting there waiting for the detectives or law enforcement, and so I mean, it wasn't all 4 hours of her talking. Lord, I couldn't sit there and listen to her for 4 hours, but I mean, it's just definitely, it's the way she referred to herself as a witness. It was interesting. So I mean, there's been a lot of things that she said. There's also been a lot of things that we've kind of read into and heard as far as rumors and things that we want to talk about.
Well, and then also, like I said, as far as touching on the fact as maybe she is a victim, as far as maybe as far guilty by association, like we said,
Yeah.
and that kind of leads into the fact of some of these rumors that are going around as far as
That's why she had to, we're thinking she might have gotten out of town and gone somewhere. I mean, if you're involved in this, whether you're a witness or a victim, or, she was put out there in the media and she was put out there in the discovery documents, so people know who she is now. So it's very likely that she went completely across the country. We have no idea where she is at this point, but she had suggested it in multiple times in both of those interviews, and she even asked at one point how to go about that. So I would not be surprised at all if she's done that.
Well, and also through appearance in some of the new discovery that's been released is it kind of appears that way that
yeah, I'm
there
pretty
may have
sure.
been a name change.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there was a name change too in there. She alluded to the fact that she would need to change her name. I mean, I'm sure she's probably going to have to change her hair color. We know what she looks like. She's been all over the media. She's been all over all kinds of different outlets as far as news and media. So I'm sure, I mean, in when she has such an uncommon name like Nichol Kessinger, you're going to have to, if you change your name, I would think, this is just my opinion.
Maybe like a Linda or a Pam or a Susie or...
You're going to need a common last name too, like a Johnson or Robinson, something that's very common, very... because when you're one in, maybe a state or a couple in a state as far as a name, and then it's very likely that someone's going to find you. And if they even tried to contact all three of those people, there's only three. You're going to have a common name where there's, 50 in one city versus only a couple. It's just the way, if you don't want to be found, you're going to have to be smart about that. So I'd be very curious to see. And I also heard something, this is probably just a rumor and speculation as well, but someone threw it out there, I don't even remember where, but that she might be pregnant. Like I said, I highly doubt that. I bet it's just a rumor.
Yeah,
but
that
you
could
never
be
know.
that could add, a total different spin
dun,
to that.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, dun, dun, dun.
Whose baby would it be? Would it be Chris Watts? Would it be somebody else's? You never know. You never know. So that's, again, just probably speculation or a rumor out there. But I found it interesting. So we find the things. We just want to throw it out there. So another thing we thought maybe was interesting was do you think maybe she gave an ultimatum? Maybe she said, hey, it's me or her, and maybe he interpreted that way, or
perhaps maybe
just
it
a question,
was,
maybe
it was all planted in his head to begin with.
Maybe there are females out there that are just smart. They make your life a puzzle piece. They it's almost like the Big Bang Theory where Sheldon and Amy are doing tests on Leonard and Penny, and they're trying to test them on different things, and they don't even realize it, and they're specifically
the hamster test.
Yes, they were specifically.
Yes.
I mean, if you can plant something in somebody's mind, I bring that up just because you can simply plant something in somebody's mind over and over again, or as a series of things, or in a way that somebody might not even piece together. And the way that I've seen him in his interviews and seen him as in Chris Watts, his demeanor's different. Like I don't know if he's just antisocial. Maybe he's just a super introvert. I don't know what his deal is, but he's odd. His demeanor is odd. So maybe it's just...
Well, and it's really interesting.
It might be easy. I don't know. That's all I was getting at,
Yeah, his behavior as far as with...
that's what I'm saying.
The whole camera.
I think he might have been easily manipulated. And...
That was very odd. And then there's also been some video of...
Yeah, his demeanor is definitely different, and
you can
see the oh crap moment when he knows he's getting busted.
You can see that, as well as there's been some recent video that has been surfaced.
Potentially, we don't know if it's been edited. We don't know.
Blurry video of.
He might be carrying something. Let's just say that, but we're not sure.
Let's just say you can see a figure carrying.
Possibly a figure.
What appears to be something else.
But we're not sure. Yeah, we don't know what that is. And you can also doctor videos, so we don't want to speculate on that. There's so much that's been released in the way that YouTube allows people to, you don't have to be a confirmed source to upload a video or whatever. So it doesn't matter. People can doctor video. I have no idea how to do it, but I know that it's possible. So I just want to take that into account as well when we're talking about all of that, just so we, aren't biased.
What is also interesting though is, we can using photos from way up, and they're just, they're always blurry. I don't quite get that. What is the deal with that?
Nightly news and surveillance from neighbors are the worst, and then you have absolutely, you have drone footage that's a mile in the air that gives you the most crystal clear picture that you could ever see, or you have Mars, we can see the craters from miles away. That's hilarious. That's a good point.
That's a different topic for a different day.
Oh,
however,
man.
now, but as far as this case is concerned, now what? Is it case closed? Because it sounds like they're not wanting to look any further into this. And I mean, more evidence continues to surface as things that just aren't quite, let's just say, up to par, or they are seeming off.
Yeah.
Let's just say, what is the old saying? They're not passing this.
I don't know. What we want to know what you think. Do you think that maybe something will happen if enough evidence comes out, or do you think that maybe they'll just pass it off? They've got the main guy. Do you think they'll let it go at this point? Let us know. We definitely want to know your feedback. We also want to let you know that you can follow us on Anchor, SoundCloud. Make sure that you like us and subscribe. Search for True Crime Truth Finders to follow us. When you subscribe, you can submit feedback, and then you'll also be able to get updates and find out when we post new episodes. Thank you for hanging with us and exploring this case. See you next time on TCTF.